Let's get some analysis on this crisis. Professor of Political Science over at American University, William Lawrence, joins us now from Washington. William, always good to have you on the show. It's a pleasure. So just over an hour ago, a state of emergency came into effect across Ukraine. Do you think that the leadership there in Ukraine is sort of seeing the situation at the same level as the U.S. now? Because just last week, Zelensky had asked the U.S. not to uselessly ratchet up the tensions.
Yeah, Zelensky's been a bit mercurial until maybe 3-4 days ago. He was downplaying everything for many reasons, including that he didn't want to play into Putin's hands. He didn't want to be hysterical, as he's often accused of by the Russian side. He didn't want to hurt the tourism, the Ukrainian economy, et cetera, et cetera. Now he's ramped things up to a 12 out of 10 ever since the Munich Security Conference, where he accused the West of not doing enough, where he suddenly wanted to join NATO, and where he mobilized 50,000 Ukrainian troops. And things are looking very, very serious. So even though the U.S. has been ramping up day on day, Ukraine's gone from a 0 to a 10 all of a sudden, and now it's very serious. I mean, his entire army could be encircled pretty quickly if this pincer action they're talking about, with troops coming down from the north and the line in front of Donbas being confronted on the other side. I mean, his whole army is potentially in jeopardy. This is a very serious situation.
He's saying that 200,000 Russian troops are at his borders. All right, talking about playing into President Putin's hand, earlier tonight, the White House press secretary Jen Psaki said that Putin was improvising and having to adapt his actions. Do you think that this is the case, or are what we're seeing from Russia all part of Putin's master plan?
Improvising like chess. You know, they often make that chess metaphor, and I've been thinking a lot about the chess metaphor lately, because in chess, you do think 16 moves ahead, but what you do depends entirely moment to moment on what your opponent does. So Jen Psaki is right that Putin is reacting to what the West is doing and permitting him to do, what he's being appeased on and not appeased on. And I don't think Putin, for example, even knows yet if he's definitely going to take Kyiv, but he does know that if certain things happen in certain ways, he will, you see. And so that's why the front lines have already gotten the orders to prepare their attack. Many things are in motion now. The cyber attacks, the greatest cyber attacks in Ukrainian history, are already ongoing. Troop movements are ongoing. Everything's in motion to do let's say, the final big attack. But the final orders haven't come yet. And part of it is because Putin's still calculating what he wants to do and what sort of threats are being made against him, and that cost-benefit analysis. You know, some people are saying he's crazy. Putin's not crazy. He's a good chess player. But again, chess players don't decide the end of the match at the beginning of the game.
Very well put. All right, let's talk about the front lines in Donbas. The leaders of the two separatist regions, according to reports from them as well as the Kremlin, they have asked the Russian President Putin for help repelling aggression from the Ukrainians. Now that the Russian troops have been given the order to enter the area, they're being called peacekeepers. I mean, do you think that this is an accurate definition, and what do you expect to play out from there?
0% accurate. And part of what Putin's doing is making a mockery of the international rules and the international system. Now, Putin, from his own perspective, he looks around the world. He looks at what the U.S. did in Iraq, and U.S. recognition of Morocco's claims, and all these different things around the world, and says, well, if they can break the rules-based order according to his definition, I can. Even on Libya, he believed Libya was a NATO operation in Libya. So, to topple the government and take over the country for NATO. That's how Putin views it. I know it. I've met with the Russians many times to talk about that. So in his worldview, he can break the rules as long as he seems to be sort of following them up to certain lines. He obviously made a deal with Xi not to attack during the Olympics. He obviously believes there's certain types of criticisms he doesn't want to have to bear. But the cost benefit right now is in favor of him continuing this plan for invasion. I think the big surprise for Putin was the canceling of Nord Stream. Going to Donbas right now, I think the main game is two things. Number one, does he want to take the rest of the two provinces? Because the Russians only control about half of them, right? And the other is, does he want the land bridge from the Donbas region down to the much more lucrative Crimea region, and cutting off Mariupol, the port through which about 20% of the Ukrainian economy flows. And so if he takes that Black Sea strip from Crimea to Donbas and stops there, he can declare victory. So there's sort of 5 different versions of how much territory he's going to try to take. That would be sort of version 2. Version 5 is he takes the whole country, and we just don't know which version Putin's going to go for.
William, like you said, this is very much a chess game, so we'll wait and see. William Lawrence, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.